If you're a WWE superstar, you face an uphill battle if Vince McMahon doesn't see anything in you. Nonetheless, some superstars have won over Mr. McMahon, enjoying success despite initial opposition by the WWE's chairman. Join us now as WrestleLamia looks at 8 gimmicks Vince McMahon hated, but were actually successful. Number 1. The American Badass. Mark Calloway's American Badass persona was a clever adjustment to the Deadman character he had played for nearly a decade, giving fans a fresh take on the character. The badass biker terrorized the WWE just as much as he had done as the otherworldly Undertaker, albeit without supernatural powers. The Undertaker would wrestle as the American Badass from 2000 to 2003, but Vince McMahon wasn't a fan. According to former WWE writer Andrew Goldstein, it's a freight train and you're just running alongside it and you jump in the sidecar and you're just along for the ride and you gotta catch up to speed on your own. They're not stopping to catch you up on. Well, when you have a meeting with Vince, don't bring up the Undertaker when he was the American Badass, because Vince hates that. Nobody tells you that thing, those picky things that Vince or Stephanie and Michael Hayes don't like. There's no guidebook. Reality was 100% different than I thought it was gonna be. McMahon's malice for the character may have inspired him to bury the character at 2003 Survivor Series Buried Alive match, when Kane helped McMahon seemingly kill Mark Calloway during the event when he dumped a ton of dirt on his foe. While the American Badass died that night, Calloway returned to his supernatural character in 2004 and has never looked back. Number 2. Gangrel. The Brood had one of the coolest entrances in WWF history, and with Gangrel guiding them, Edge and Christian got over as two mysterious heels. However, Vince McMahon was no fan of Gangrel's vampire character, and during an appearance on Edge and Christian's podcast, Gangrel revealed, "Vince McMahon told me himself I'll never use the vampire character, like get rid of those fangs, because I was an idiot. I had fangs bonded in, that's probably why they only let me be the Black Phantom to hide the fangs. Like, this guy's an idiot. Like, he bumps real good and will do a good job, but cover his head. Let him wear the mask." Gangrel wasn't giving in though, and went on to mention, "I never heard anybody heel on vampires besides Vince McMahon. He didn't like it. So I just kept giving him the research through all these years, and then, at the time, when I was in the camp and stuff too, like, I was just trying to show them that there was a community out there. This isn't going to go anywhere like vampire movies. They're coming and people don't hate on vampires. It'll be cool." And they were like, nah, we don't get it. Then eventually, Vince Russo was like, I kinda get it. Then it clicked in Bruce Pritchard's head. Oh, I get what you're saying. The Brood, along with Gangrel, became a popular act after escaping from the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. And when the WWF gave the microphone to Gangrel, it seemed to kill any momentum he had, and ultimately he languished in the mid-card while Edge and Christian's tag team career soared. Number 3. Daniel Bryan. Arguably one of the finest workers to step into a WWE ring, Daniel Bryan experienced a difficult journey to the top of the WWE mountain, particularly with Vince McMahon not getting his character. To be certain, Bryan didn't fit the muscle man profile that Vince likes in his main eventers, and Bryan's bushy beard was probably unsettling to McMahon, who, rumour has it, shaves his facial hair repeatedly throughout the day with an electric razor. Nonetheless, the fans' support for McMahon and Bryan himself eventually won him over. And while it's safe to say Bryan didn't get a monster push, he got the opportunity and ran with it, becoming a top star in the promotion then and after his return from what appeared to be a career-ending injury. While we know Vinnie Mac didn't care for Bryan's character before, there's no word on what he thinks of Bryan's eco-friendly, or should we say eco-pushy character. Whether he does or doesn't, McMahon recognizes Bryan's value as a top star in the promotion. Number 4. The Vaudevillains. Aiden English and Simon Gotch's unusual gimmick of two wrestlers who seemed to step out of the days of vaudeville, a popular form of entertainment until the rise of cinema, got them over in NXT, where they won the NXT Tag Team Championship. However, once they hit the main roster, they were as dead as vaudeville. Vince McMahon didn't like English and Gotch's act as old-time entertainers turned wrestlers, which is surprising considering Vince McMahon's idea of contemporary entertainment seems to be stuck in the 1950s. Nonetheless, the Vaudevillains became enhancement talent, the WWE releasing Gotch in 2017, effectively ending the team. Number 5. The Demon Finn Balor. Fans are still wondering what happened to Finn Balor's career after he won the Universal Championship early on in his WWE career, but never regained it or won the WWE Championship following his return from injury. Whatever enthusiasm Vince McMahon may have had for Balor following his main roster debut, it's long and gone, and it may have to do with two things. Number one, the fact that Balor created the Demon before entering the WWE, and number two, Vince McMahon already has his own supernatural characters. Other than his fluke appearance wrestling Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, Balor has been treated as another Intercontinental Champion level performer. In this case, you can make the argument that McMahon doesn't like Balor's demon character, and he probably doesn't understand Balor's work as a wrestler either. Judging from the WWE's current storyline, it looks like we'll be seeing the Demon's return in the future as he battles Bray Wyatt's Fiend character, which is ironic considering Vince McMahon's disdain for the Demon. Keep in mind that McMahon doesn't always let his hatred of a gimmick prevent him from making money with it. Nonetheless, our next example shows that isn't always the case. Number 6. Cody Rhodes. Will Cody Rhodes end up being the one that got away, a talented superstar overlooked and underappreciated by Vince McMahon so much that he felt he had to leave the WWE, and in doing so became one of sport's greatest performers? While Cody has become a top star outside the WWE, the jury's still out on whether he can help make All Elite Wrestling into a true rival for the WWE. Nonetheless, it's mind-boggling that Vince McMahon apparently didn't like Cody's character due to what he saw as exaggerated facial expressions and overacting. Cody went from a promising start as a member of Randy Orton's Legacy faction to a struggling single star. Perhaps that's why McMahon had Rhodes don silver makeup, becoming Stardust, a virtual duplicate of his brother Dustin's Goldust character. Did McMahon misjudge Cody? Judging from Cody's current success, this has to be seen as a huge lapse in judgment by the WWE chairman. Unlike the past where McMahon could have let someone get away and have them rebuild themselves in minor competitors such as Impact or Ring of Honor, McMahon now faces stars leaving for a rival with the potential to hurt its business. Number 7. Christian. After a historic run alongside tag team partner Edge, it looked as if the man who became known as Captain Charisma might not have much of a singles career despite the fans' enthusiasm for his work in ring and his character. If former WWE lead writer Alex Greenfield is to be believed, WWE Superstar Christian's face bothered Vince McMahon so much that the WWE's head honcho felt something needed to be done in order to get Christian over. Right before I started, there was a big show, I think it might have been in Toronto. Christian was just so completely over and everybody thought he was going to get a push at, I think, the World Heavyweight Championship at that point. We were on the plane one time shortly after I started and Vince was just like, "God damn, I just don't like his face. His face really bothers me." I was like, "He's ugly, Vince?" "No, it's not that he's ugly, it's just, I don't know, it's ratty." You know what we should do? That Kennedy gimmick. Some scion of the Kennedy fortune, I guess, got arrested for rape in 1990s at some point. When the woman who was accusing him was on the stand, all of the networks put a blue dot over her face. Vince was like, "God damn, you know what we should do? We should put a blue dot over his face whenever he comes out." It was the flight to Sheffield, England, also the flight where the Spirit Squad idea was invented. This was a whole flight of bad ideas. Thankfully, Christian avoided the blue dot treatment, and while his World Championship run was less than inspiring, he's enjoyed a successful tag team and singles career despite having a face that annoys Vince McMahon. And number 8. Bill Goldberg. Just because Vince McMahon doesn't like a wrestler's gimmick doesn't mean he won't do business with them. A prime example is Bill Goldberg, the powerhouse grappler WCW built up into one of its greatest homegrown stars. In 2003, the WWE decided to see if Goldberg could boost the promotion's sagging business. Just imagine what McMahon would have said back then if he saw today's ratings, as he brought him in for a program against World Heavyweight Champion Triple H. Although Goldberg received a main event push and ultimately defeated Triple H for the belt, Vince McMahon reportedly didn't dig Goldberg's Who's Next gimmick, and Goldberg's alleged refusal to put over some WWE superstars turned him off further. Goldberg wasn't thrilled with his 2003 to 2004 run in the WWE, but nevertheless accepted the WWE's stack of cash when he returned for a brief program with Brock Lesnar from 2016 to 17. Vince might have not liked Goldberg's gimmick, but he knows Goldberg's still a draw, which is why he brought him back in 2019 for the WWE Super Showdown event in Saudi Arabia, as well as SummerSlam. As an added bonus, the WWE also keeps Goldberg from working with their competitor, All Elite Wrestling. But there you have it, guys. Wrestlers' gimmicks or other aspects of their characters that Vince McMahon hated, but were nevertheless successful. In hindsight, was Mr. McMahon right about not liking these various gimmicks or attributes? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.